You dim the lights, you lower your voice, and your child still acts like it's time to party. They're tired but wired because their body and brain can't switch gears. When the sensory system stays dysregulated, the brain never gets the "it's safe to rest" signal. Today, I'm going to explain why this happens and what you can do to help tonight. Hi, I'm Diane Lusney, and if you are a mom of an autistic and sleepless child, I'm here to help you improve your child's sleep and give you a break. Now, back to sensory issues and sleep. Point one, dysregulated equals no sleep. Have you ever noticed your child rubbing their eyes, yawning, maybe even saying they're tired, but they can't settle down? This isn't stubbornness or disobedience. This is their nervous system in the on position. Here's what's happening inside their body. When your child's nervous system is in the go mode, what we call a dysregulated state, their body releases stress chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals are meant to help us stay alert and safe when we're in danger. They make muscles tense up and keep the brain scanning for problems. Think of it like a car engine that's still revving, even though the car is parked. Your child wants to stop. They need to stop, but their internal engine won't power down. Regulation means that your body systems are working in balance. Heart rate, breathing, and muscle tension are all coordinated with the environment. When playing, the body is energized. When resting, the body is calm. Dysregulation means these systems are out of sync. The body is sending danger signals, even though everything is safe. For autistic children, the nervous system often gets stuck in this alert state more easily and stays there longer. They're running on empty, exhausted, drained, wanting rest, but their body won't let them shut down. It's like trying to fall asleep while an alarm is going off. Even if they're exhausted, their body says, "No, we have to stay awake and watch for danger." What you can do. Danger is often unpredictable and fast. Choose activities opposite of that, such as rocking back and forth, slow stretching, or deep breathing. LSD breathing, which is long, slow, deep, and is diaphragmatic or belly breathing, is one of the best ways to switch to the rest and digest, connect and heal system. For more ideas and techniques, check out my free T-Zone system for relaxation and sleep below. And here's an important tip you already know. Don't wait until your child is melting down or completely dysregulated to start this. Prevention works better than repair. If you start when they're just beginning to wind down from the day, you're working with their body instead of fighting against it. Point two, stuck sensory signaling. Now let's talk about why the nervous system stays stuck in the first place. For autistic children, the sensory system, how the brain processes information from the senses, works differently. Every moment, your child's brain is receiving information from their senses. What they see, hear, feel on their skin, taste, and smell. They also get information from senses we don't talk about as much, like proprioception. That's the sense that tells you where your body is in space, even if you don't see where it is. And the vestibular sense. That's the sense in your inner ear that tracks movement and balance. For many autistic kids, these senses are turned up higher than usual. It's like the volume dial is set to maximum. A light that seems dim to you might feel bright to them. A sound that you can barely notice might feel jarring and loud. A clothing tag that you don't feel might scratch and irritate their skin all day long. When just one sense feels off or overwhelming, the whole nervous system can stay on high alert. The brain keeps scanning, asking, "What's that light? What's that sound? What's touching me?" It never gets to relax because it's constantly processing all this sensory information and feeling unsafe. At bedtime, this becomes a huge problem. Even if your child is exhausted, their brain is still receiving all these signals: the light from the hallway, the hum from the refrigerator downstairs, the texture of their sheets, the feeling of air moving across their skin. Each of these can keep the alarm system going. What you can do. The solution is to reduce sensory load one step at a time. Sensory load means the total amount of sensory information the brain is trying to process. Here's the key: don't change everything all at once. If you suddenly turn off all the lights, eliminate all sound, and change their pajamas at the same moment, that sudden change can actually trigger more alertness. Remember, change can equal danger to a dysregulated system. Instead, reduce one sensory input first. Maybe you dim the lights 30 minutes before bedtime, not right at bedtime, or before the bedtime routine rather than at the bedtime routine. Or you lower background noise by turning off the TV in another room. Give the brain time to adjust to that one change before you make another change. The goal is to create a sensory environment where the brain doesn't have to work so hard. When you reduce the sensory load gradually, the nervous system can finally start to power down. Point 3: rhythm retrains to relaxation. Here's something really important to understand, but we sometimes forget. Sleep isn't something we can command. You can't just tell your child's body to sleep and expect it to happen. Sleep is something the body learns through consistent signals and patterns. Think about how your own body knows it's time to sleep. Maybe when you get into bed, your body automatically starts to relax. That's not magic. That's your brain recognizing a pattern. Over time, your brain will learn that bed equals sleep. For autistic children, this learning process needs to be more intentional and consistent. Their brains need very clear, repeated sensory cues, signals that say this specific thing always means sleep is coming. This is where creating a sensory routine becomes powerful. A sensory routine uses the same sensory experiences in the same order every single night. The repetition and predictability teach the brain and body what to expect and how to respond, and that it's safe. What you can do: pick one consistent sensory cue that will happen every evening at the same point in your routine. This becomes your child's personal sleep signal. When I first started prioritizing my sleep, unknowingly, tidying the kitchen became my first step in my sleep routine. For your child, it might be a specific scent, like lavender from the Epsom salts from the bath you're running. It might be a particular song or a ditty, or specific phrases or reminders. It might be a specific type of gentle touch, like a hug after snack time. The key is consistency. But consistency can be hard. Persist anyway. Do the best you can. You're essentially retraining the nervous system. Instead of the body staying alert and wired, you're teaching it a new response. When this happens, I know that this is going to happen next, and I know what's happening next. It's safe for me to rest. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, usually 2 to 3 weeks in ideal circumstances, for the brain to really learn the pattern. But once it does, you'll notice your child's body starting to relax more automatically when they experience their sleep cue. 2 to 3 weeks sounds like a long time, but hold on. If you can improve your child's evening and sleep, and yours as well, it really isn't that long. If it's helpful for you to make a public commitment, write down your starting date in the comments. So, your child isn't refusing sleep, their body simply hasn't powered down yet. Their sensory system is keeping them on high alert, and their nervous system hasn't learned how to shift into rest mode. But how to power down? What if there was a specific type of activity that could actually flip the switch in your child's nervous system? What if you could help their body go from wired to calm? Not in an hour, but in just 10 to 15 minutes. Learn the what and the when in my next video.